People ask me all the time why I'm an independent broker. The short answer is this. My ethics demand that I live by my convictions and stand on principle, not on membership in a trade organization. And nothing that has happened in this industry since I left the National Association of Realtors in 2008 has made me think I chose wrong. For those of you who want the longer story, the why behind the why, stay with me. It's worth the few minutes. Now, fair warning, this is a subject I get very passionate about. Around 2008, the country was in the middle of a housing crisis, a crisis caused in significant part by years of relaxed lender underwriting standards and government intervention in the housing market that distorted normal market behavior. So when the government's response to that crisis was to roll out more government intervention, a tax credit to pay first-time home buyers to buy homes, I was strongly opposed to it. More intervention to fix problems caused by intervention? That wasn't a solution. That was just a deeper hole. At that time, I was a recent Realtor Magazine 30 Under 30 recipient. I had spoken at the National Association of Realtors annual convention. I was, to my knowledge, the youngest owner of a RE/MAX franchise in the entire world. I had a platform, and I had an audience before social media was even trendy. So I used it. I wrote blog posts on the subject. I emailed just about every agent in my market. I emailed the MLS. I emailed the local board of realtors. I emailed the state and national organizations. I laid out clearly why I believed this policy was bad for buyers, bad for sellers, bad for the long-term health of the market, and ultimately bad for the very profession that was cheering it on. I stood alone. By and large, the real estate community supported this free money, and that's their right. Even agents whose politics aligned with mine on government intervention, many of them set those leanings aside because the policy offered hope of returning to normal. Now, I'd love to tell you that my warnings were just opinion, that history could have gone differently. It didn't. The Government Accountability Office investigated the program. They documented more than $500 million in fraudulent and improper claims. Claims filed by people who had previously owned homes. Claims filed by children, including, in one documented case, a 4-year-old. All you have to do is Google fraud and housing tax credit, or ask me and I'll share the links. So when I say I stood alone, I'm not telling you a story about being a contrarian for the sake of it. I'm telling you a story about reading a policy carefully, identifying its likely failures, and watching every one of those failures play out in the historical record. Agents had every right to support this policy, but I had rights too. And one of mine was to vote with my pocketbook and refuse to financially support an organization that I believed was diametrically opposed to protecting the very people they claim to protect, the public. So I left, and I've never looked back. Now, the line I hear all the time is that we, members of NAR, have ethics. Like ethics is something you buy with a $500 annual due. Well, honey, where I'm from, if you have to pay an organization $500 a year to claim you have ethics, that's not ethics. That's a membership card with your name on it and a logo. There are Sam's Club members who still shoplift. Membership doesn't change who people are. So you either have ethics or you don't. Now, let me be clear about something. I didn't leave the National Association of Realtors because I think all realtors are bad people. I don't think that. Not at all. I left because the organization has lost its way. I can understand, even appreciate, wanting to protect its members, but not at the cost of selling out the public in the process. Homeowners, home buyers, the very people the profession exists to serve. So that's why I'm an independent broker. I care too much about this industry and protecting the public to just go along to get along. I'm Jessica Horton, 24 years serving Pike County and Middle Georgia, independent by design.